Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. Basically, the case of Dylan Seabridge is absolutely, heartbreaking. And those of us who have children feel that way about this, and especially the fact that the people who were charged with protecting him are the ones who failed him. Now, I know many loving families who have homeschooled their children with great success, and those children have turned out well and well-rounded and have actually gone on to have good careers and gone to university. In contrast, we can look at the case of little Daniel Pelker, who died at the hands of his parents in 2012, who was going through the traditional system and was found rummaging in bins for food at school because he was being horribly mistreated at home. Now, despite this and the fact that he missed 28 days of school, and the abuse was not picked up by the teachers or by any of the people who were charged with looking after him. Now, my plea is that, as you have said, that you do not have a knee-jerk reaction to Dylan's case, and that homeschooling is not made more difficult or challenging for those who choose this path. How is it that you can ensure that vulnerable children are seen regularly by those charged with their protection, and that no more children slip through this safety net, and that parents who homeschool are not going to be vilified? And also, will you ensure that there is a balance between the right of parents to raise their children the way that they see fit and the right of the child to education and health? And just one last point. You've raised many times now about vaccination. Are you saying that people who don't vaccinate their children, that this is a trigger by which you think that there may be abuse going on at home? Or what was the relationship to which you were raising vaccination? Could you just make that clear?
Okay, thank the member for his questions. This is an extremely sad case, as I said, a child invisible to universal services. I think what is important, and I stated from the start of this discussion, that I don't think elective home education is the only issue here. I think we've got a collective of problems that have come together with a very bad outcome of a young person losing his life. And we have to get underneath that. And there will be some difficult discussions with all sectors about what do we do this. It's not about vilifying one or the other, but it is about making the right decision. The member raises the issue of the balance of the right of the child and the right of a parent. I understand that, but I must come down always on the rights of the vulnerable. And if the young person is the vulnerable person here, I will at all costs protect that process. I'm quite happy to clarify the issue of vaccination. This wasn't about making all parents vaccinate their children. It's still about parental choice, and I am fully happy with that process. What I was suggesting was at a point in time when vaccination is due for an individual, the health service should understand that as a trigger point of whether the parent makes a choice of either for or against, and that's completely reasonable. But making sure that the child's choice, the child in question, is in a safe condition. I don't think that's unreasonable to make sure we keep an eye on our young people who sometimes find themselves in very vulnerable situations. The member raised another awful case of a young boy found in traditional circumstances, but found in a neglect situation. I accept and acknowledge that too. The problems we have here is that there are some individuals falling through a system. We have to understand how that works better, and the multi-agency approach is what we need to have, where actually, even on Dylan's case, if you stacked up some of the individual aspects of this, it clearly wasn't picked up, but when you stack them together, this makes a real case where actually we should be making strong intervention. That's what we need to ensure happens in the future, and there's something that we've learned from the CPR and are continuing to learn on.